All right, welcome back and thanks for staying with us. It's still Rapid Dawn right here on Rapid TV. Of course, you know what the 9 o'clock hour is about. Basically having the big conversation seated right here in the studio. Once again, my name is Martha Alu.
And of course, my name is Victor Ake. Welcome back.
Welcome back. Now, over the weekend, which was Saturday, the world commemorated the International Day of the Girl Child.
Right.
And every single day of the year, we come up with these celebrations. We talk about how the girls should be respected. We talk about how the girls should be paid attention to. But much more than these calls and these advocacies, the statistics is a lot more disturbing. Because according to the statistics, which of course I have here, and all the beautiful speeches, UNICEF says that about 10.5 million Nigerian children are out of school, and 6 out of every 10 of them are girls.
Yeah.
Means that 7.6%, 7.6 million girls who may never learn to read or write. We have these statistics of people out of school. But every single day of the year that is scheduled to celebrate the girl child, we come up and we talk about these beautiful policies. We talk about these beautiful gaps that we see and how we plan to fill it up.
Yeah.
But the question is, every year we do that. But every year we still find ourselves at the same spot, talking about the same thing. It's now looking like we are more about commemorating the day than actually implementing some of these policies that we introduce, especially when it comes to taking care of the girl child.
Right.
And this year, the theme is invest in girls' rights, our leadership, our well-being. Now, the question we'll get to ask ourselves is this. How do we move from celebrating the girl child in speeches to actually securing her future in action? And this, of course, is the conversation we'll be having today on Rapid Dawn. And what better person to have the conversation with than a person who has worked tirelessly for the rights of girls. Of course, she is the founder of Connect Her Network, and you definitely see that it's about the girl, of course. And her name is Ambassador Victoria Uguche. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Thank you so much.
So good to have you join us here today.
It is amazing to be here. Thank you.
Welcome.
All right. First of all, let's begin with what your advocacy about the girl child has been over the years. And of course, something must have brought you to the point where you say, oh, there is a gap and something needs to be paid attention to. What brought you to that point? And what have you discovered throughout your advocacy for the girl child?
Okay, so thank you so much for having me here. I think one of the leading light towards my advocacy journey has been that you took the word out of my mouth. You know, we do a lot of talking, so much conferences, so much gathering and communities, but there is no actual work being done. You know, I won't say there is no actual work, because I have to give it to those who are truly transforming the society and giving back and helping the girl child to stand on their feet. You know, but there's so much work that still needs to be done. You know, so I thought that who else to build this gap other than us? You know, we don't have to wait for a certain organization or a certain body or person to, you know, do the work for us. The work become easier if all hands are on deck. And personally, growing up as a child, it was a rough patch. You know, I literally saw how God took me from, you know, a certain circle and a narrow path, and how I escaped a certain thing as a teenager. You know, so I felt that was just me. That could just be luck.
Right.
What about those who didn't have this opportunity to scale through? I look back and I see them, I know where they are today, you know, and I feel like in order for us to correct this gap and help the next generation, we must start putting in the work beyond just talking. No matter how little your impact is, it will still be felt. Yes. So it was my personal journey incorporated with what the society lacks in general, that, you know, give birth to this passion. Yes.
Amazing. Amazing.
And so why is it important now to celebrate the International Day of the Girl Child?
You know, I think beyond the celebration, it is important to, you know that the girls are nation builder. I would give it, you know, I'm gender inclusive, so I wouldn't just, you know, I wouldn't say the male child or the male gender are not important as well. But you know that even if a woman works, she still has to come back and be a mother.
Absolutely.
Right.
Even if she goes to work, she comes back to be a wife. So that shows that women have more than just career, you know, to influence the society. We are the nation builder. And when they say you're a nation builder, it starts from that little child that you're training from the house. So it is important to have this celebration year in, year out, day in, day out, to constantly remind our mothers, to constantly remind us and even our fathers that it is important to train a girl child and give her all the necessary help and support because she is in charge of building the next generation. You know, so it is important to give us, to constantly show the world that we have a job to do and it cannot be left undone. Yes.
Yes.
All right, we're talking about statistics now, and you were literally nodding the whole time when I was talking about the number of girls that are out of school every year. And this is 2025. I have seen like multiple advocacies where people are saying take the girls back to school. Much as the boys have the opportunity to go to school, the girls also have the right to be educated. But still, we still see this enormous gap, which says about 6.7 million girls till date are still being uneducated. What do you think is the reason for this gap? Because every time we talk about it, it's looking as if we're playing the cards of gender inequality, and it sparks up some kind of reaction from the male gender, from civil society organizations as well. So why this gap?
Okay, so I think personally, I'll share a little story.
Okay.
Growing up, you know, God rest my father, so amazing man. He loved education so much, even though we were financially crippled, you know, to achieve that. It was a struggle. And then it was between myself and my immediate elder brother. He was, you know, we're looking for admission at that point. And they said and did something. I love you, my brother. I know he's probably watching this. I'm like, no, I didn't mean that. I know. But it's just the subconscious attitude. So I remember vividly that it was between myself and my elder brother, you know, to go to school at that period. Like, okay, which is more important? Which is more important? Okay, let your brother go. You sit. Do you understand? You sit. And they're like, he's a man. The word came out, you know, he was like, he was a man. And I felt bad. And I sat down and I was like, I will go to school.
At all costs.
Yes, I will go to school. And I mean, lo and behold, he still did help. But at that point, when it was time for him to choose, he said he is a man. Because there is an understanding, a false, will I say, unwritten rule that we have in Africa, that the male child should be the first to get a certain thing, education, opportunity, jobs and all that, because they feel like you're a woman, you end up in a man's house. So it's a subconscious thing. And this was just, say, 16 years ago that this incident happened. So it's a subconscious thing. If you go to any household, except those who are now, you know, mentally and, you know, advanced, and also you see they try to talk down a woman's career, life, dream and all that. So I think it's more of a mental thing in Africa. We were like, oh yeah, give the girl child the opportunity, but when the opportunity truly avail itself, they would say, let's give it to a man. If we have 5 men here and 1 woman contesting for a political position, they'll say, you're a woman, just give it the men.
Let me tell you,
why not say you are the only woman, let's give it to you, you know. So I think it's a mental thing.
Do you know that today on my way to work, I had probably be watching, I had a conversation with someone and I played a video and it was just a Missy. Of course, she recently just won the Big Brother game or what have you. Now it was like I watched it like I don't watch it, but I see trails of who that person was while the person was there. And it says, why would you give a woman the money? What will she use it for? The man needs the money more than the woman. I was too weak to speak. I said,
you were serious?
He was serious. I was too weak to speak. I said, you know what? Not today, Satan. We're not. Let's just get to work and get on with our business. But you see, this is ingrained in our subconscious.
Exactly.
We somehow push for narrative.
Yes.
Now, we're not going to discredit the fact that they're still out of boys. There are boys who are still out of school. Because the statistics says 10.5 million children are out of
so
school.
There's a certain percentage.
Exactly.
That's,
so there's 60% of girls, but there's still the 40% of boys that are out of school. But the conversation here is why is the number of the
That
girls.
high.
Yes. And now you made mention of something. You said subconsciously the society just throws the opportunity to the boy and says,
Yeah.
oh, you go because you are the man.
Yes.
And the woman has to stay at home. She doesn't necessarily
Need to do anything.
so much. But we still are the same people who come back to complain in
And
society.
clamor and cry.
Aside that, and say that women are too dependent. And you see a lot of women tend to have low self-esteem because of some of these choices.
Absolutely.
Now, I don't want to entirely blame it on the fact that the choices are being given to the men alone, but we are dealing with women who do not only not have the opportunity, but are also still dealing with self-esteem problems. How do you think this is interrelated, and how can it be sorted out?
So I think, sorry, the exact question you asked again.
Why do you think self-esteem of a woman and these choices of always throwing the opportunity to the man are interrelated, and how can it be sorted?
So I think parents have a lot of job, I would say, to do concerning this particular situation. Women grow up every day of their life to be thrown with the, knowledge of, oh, you have to go to school because of a man. You have to do this because of a man.
Yeah.
You have to do that because of a man. So the man is the crown here. The man is
prize.
the prize here, So they grow up feeling like, what's more to life? Why do I need to do so much? I just want to end up and be an Odogu wife,
Don't we all secretly want?
Yeah, no, we do.
Okay.
That's why they said, my money is my money, but your money is our money.
They're not going to like it.
So I think parents need to inculcate this in our girl child. My sons will see me and say, Mommy, you look beautiful. If I make a new hair, oh, Mommy, your hair is so nice. I deliberately taught them to be that way, because I want them to grow up and appreciate their wives. I want them to grow up and know how to appreciate a woman, and understand what she goes through, and I understand that, oh, she's probably disadvantaged at a certain area. Now, if the table turns round and every parent deliberately throw in and train their children in a certain way and strategically prepare them for the future, it is beyond preparing them for now. We didn't know that the internet space was going to come and be a thing like this today. It was going to be this, elaborate and all that. So you need to think as a parent how to strategize into the future. How to help your child grow and prepare for the future. It's automatic. When you train a child for a journey of 50-20 years ahead, when it comes to that presence, they automatically have that confidence. They are not naive. They are not, they know their rights. They know how to stand tall. They know what to do. They know the right decisions to take. We make it look as if men are the prize, men are the prize. That is why once a woman gets somebody who asks her out at 14, 15, she feels like, oh my God, I'm made, because this is the prize and he's coming for me. So we need to inculcate new traditions, new traits, new character, new, something that would stand for the future. That is the only way we can start seeing real change.
Now, while I acknowledge all of the concerns, we've also seen that in this time and era, there's been a lot of evolution. Some of these complaints and concerns, it has changed. I mean, there's more inclusivity when it comes to training the girl child now in homes, in the societies as it is. In fact, research has it that if you train a girl child, just one, you've trained the community, because she comes back to also take care of the family. However, we still have a few communities, a few families, a few societies that still do not take the training of the female child that important. Now, you shared the story, in your own household, your brother and yourself. But let's go back to that story a little bit. How did it form your mentality, as an individual, and how did it affect your growing up and your journey to success as a person?
Okay, so I'll say something. I'll say another short story. So growing up, we had this mango tree in our side, and we eat a lot of mango. Trust me, year in, year out. So my other brother grew sick of it and hated it. He was like, no, I tell you, it's been over 20 years. He has never eaten mango. He's like, he hates mango because he had too much of it. On the flip side, I love mango. Once it's mango season, count me in, anywhere, any day. Now, this is what this is what experiences does to you. It either affects you completely negatively or completely positively.
Yeah.
So personally, I think when I had experienced that, when that happened to me, instead of me to sit down and wallow and cry and say, oh my goodness, I'm a female child, okay, you know, and have that mentality of inferiority complex, I turned that into, you know, lemonade, you know, and decided that I will break that barrier. You know, I would make my parents proud. And it helped me, because then we're being deceived. We had one boyfriend and all that. So I was like, this is not my priority now. This is not my priority. That I have to stay focused. I have to make my parents proud so they can be proud that they have a female child. So I think personally, instead of me to take it in a negative light, I turned it into something. I turned it into strength.
Yeah.
I turned it into purpose, you know, and I kept pursuing that dream.
Also, now if you look at the role of leadership, which sometimes has to come from the personality of a person, not just as a male or as a female. Leadership is something that everywhere, someone who wants it should crave for it. Now, globally, according to UN, in the parliament, women occupy about 26% of the positions there. On the management role, we have about 28% of women that occupy that position. How much of a training is being required so that at least more women can get trained and get ready as well to occupy some of these positions?
I think it's a lot of training, and it's not just the career path. You need to train them, you need to encourage them, you need to tell them that they are made for the best, and it's okay to stay in a certain position.
Men are made for the best as well.
Yes, yes. So, I mean, we're talking about the percentage now. You know,
That's it.
you see,
That's what happens.
we're talking about the percentage here. You know, so I think we need to retrain, and even the women, especially in Africa, we need to learn to relearn and unlearn. We need to leave some traditions, and traditions are just most times like an instilled rule by someone. So it's okay when it's no longer serving its purpose to be left alone. It's okay to just, you know, throw that tradition away and embrace something that now commensurates with the future. So I think there's a lot of training to be done. Personally, my organization launched an app in August 9th. It's called the Connect Her Network. It's an app for women alone. I know you're going to say something I can explain. You know, it's an app for women alone, and, you know, it gives women a center space, a space where we can actually unify all over the world. It's not, it's beyond Nigeria. You know, you'd agree with me that when you talk about football, 90% of men all over the world would probably be under one umbrella, even if they're arguing against each other, even if it's Arsenal, Chelsea, but they're in a space. We saw that there is a gap. What really brings women together? Because you might like fashion and I'm not really a fashion freak. You might like this and I'm not. We need a space where we can actually unify and stand as one, so we can bridge communities together. It's beyond UN or UNICEF or ECHO and all that. And yes, you know, even if you break it down to our NGOs and all that, you know, it's beyond all that. A space where we can actually stay readily available. And there's something that this app does. We have a space called sponsorship. This is a space where we have people who sponsor trainings, fully funded training opportunity, grants and all that. Yes, you know, so we have these things there. Now, why do we do this? We want women to have a space where they can actually get trainings, get certified, be exposed to global opportunities, you know, that we would be flooding in via that app. You know, so I think having a space where there is a continual access to learning, continual access to contemporary things can help the women, you know, to evolve.
Okay. And thank you so much for that, because it's very important. But one thing I want to put out there is the fact that when we talk about the right of girls, we are not discrediting the right of boys as well.
Not.
That's one conversation.
So apologies.
Yeah. No. Because the truth is, whenever you come up with conversations talking about, oh, girls need to be, then someone says boys too. Yes, boys too, absolutely. But because there is an unusual gap
women have suffered for too long.
Exactly. That's why there's this level of insistence. It's just like politics. You come and say, oh, politics, more women should be given political opportunities, and then the guy says more men too. Obviously, more men already occupy that position. Because there's a wide gap is the reason that the conversations about even including anybody stems up in the first place. But yes, let's highlight a bit on this year's theme, which is about safeguarding the rights of girls, you know, if I get that correctly. In countries like Nigeria, we still have millions of girls who are married before the age of 18. We, in countries like, in fact, I've seen very disturbing videos from Pakistan about young girls being pregnant, you know, have complications because their organs are not fully developed enough, ready enough to have children, let alone, they haven't even grown themselves, let alone raising children.
They don't understand life.
You get what I mean? And we still have that in Nigeria. In fact, the statistics says with Nigeria's child marriage rate around 43.44%, which means that millions of girls married before 18. What does this say about the effectiveness of existing laws and policies, especially when it comes to protecting the girl child and safeguarding her right? Because I don't think that children before the age of 18 are ready to get married. And by ready, I mean a child of 10 years or 12 years. Some of them don't even start their menstrual cycle until 13. You know, imagine marrying such a child, now having carnal knowledge of that child, you know, before the child actually even develops enough for the body to understand the activities that are being carried out there. How do you think these rights can be preserved?
That's a very deep question, you know, and it saddens me so much.
Absolutely.
I think one of the problems is that we have too many laws here, from the Sharia law to this law governing each state and all. What we can do best is to constantly appeal and educate and, you know, campaign for the rights of these girls. Now, a few years ago, I used to work somewhere, and my boss's wife wanted me to take her to the hospital. And then when we go to the hospital, she's of course she's a Muslim and she doesn't want people touching her and all that, you know. And when we go to the hospital, she's like, Victoria, I want a female doctor. I don't want, and it was a male doctor that was around. I was like, Ma, please, can he just check? He said, no, nobody can check her on him. And then it occurred to me that these are the same people who rarely allow girl child to go to school. If you had allowed girl children to go to school 30 years ago, would have more female doctors to attend to you. So I think these are the opportunities, these experiences are the opportunities that God in his infinite wisdom has provided for us to use as a campaign tool to go back to these people and say, this is a gap and you can see it. Of course, we respect your religion and what you stand for. Can you see that there's a need for your female children to be allowed to experience life and go to school so you can have more female doctors? You know, I had this conversation with her and she just took a deep breath. It's like, you know,
that realization.
You know, that realization. So I think instead of us, like I said earlier, instead of me to allow a particular situation to weigh me down, flip it. Look for ways to use it as campaign tools. Look for ways to use it as, you know, a reason to cry for help on behalf of the girl child all over the world. Because you can't force them at the end of the day. Because there's no standing rule that says if you marry a child in Nigeria, that says if you marry a child below a certain age, you'll be arrested, the wrath of the law will get... So because they can...
the Sharia law
covers them.
Yeah.
Yes. So, and the Sharia law it has come to stay. You can't do anything about it, you know. So for now, we can, of course, these people are also exposed. We can use this and speak to the right persons, the right people who are in strategic positions, you know, to call them and have a stakeholders meeting and say, see, these things are a gap. How do we bridge it? These are people who have common sense as well. You know, so I think if we make those kind of strategic moves, showing real statistics, showing real problems as it is, we might start covering a good number. You know, these things cannot happen overnight. This campaign cannot come to stay overnight. And trust me, when you have women who are clamoring for things like this, they call them rebellion. Most of the heavy changes, most of the powerful things that have transformed the world, it starts from rebellion. Oh, you are, you know, you are standing against, you know. So at first it might look as if we're standing against the norm, but eventually we'll start covering good grounds.
Yeah. You know, we can't really have the conversation about the girl child entirely without talking about the male child.
Absolutely.
Talking about the involvement of the male gender in the society for the development of the girl child. What can we do better as men in the society to constantly, consciously, you know, and deliberately train the girl child, and also provide that opportunity for the female child to be there both in politics and of course in the business world,
So
and as well in school?
Yes. So I think one thing we could do first as fathers is to see your children as equal, see them as having equal opportunity, see them as, you know, whatever you wish for a male child, envision it also for the female child. So it starts with the father, because the father will go to work and speak to his friends, and they will meet outside after work to chill and talk.
Yeah.
You know, so from there, your brothers, your uncles, your aunties, first have a change of mentality. See these women as your equal gender. You know, every opportunity that a man can get, believe that, yes. And I also personally believe that there is no women inclusion without men. Because when you say women inclusion, that means there is a space men occupy, and you want women to be also included. You know, so we must give it to those he for she's, the men who stand tall and support women's dream and bring women on board and try to give women equal opportunities. So I think having a change of mentality, constantly having training specifically for men about women. So it's not about gathering women and telling women about women. You know,
tell men also.
Yes, gather men, tell men about women, educate men about the need to involve the girl child, involve women in their offices, give women equal opportunity. I've seen cases of men, CEOs who, if you come for job, you are a woman, you are married, no, I don't want. There's that discrimination. So we need to have conferences and seminars for men. About the girl child, about women.
So you made mention of something, and while I acknowledge the fact that the rights of women should be preserved, you see, about the workplace, the matter is a lot more delicate.
I know.
Because imagine an organization that is profit-oriented and is saying, I have deadlines I need to meet, but the woman's cramps will not let her do her job. The woman's pregnancy will not let her do her job. How do you think that they can be included without breaching the right of the organization? Because honestly speaking, that's a business and it is profit oriented as well. So it would be very unfair to say make excuses or make provision for the excuses of these women. Yes, they are pregnant. Yes, they have children. Yes, they have these cramps that they have no control over. How can we include them into the workplace without taking away the right of the employers?
So they said, show me a man that is diligent in his work and he will eat with kings. If you're diligent, whether you're a man or a woman, trust me, people would want you around. And when I mean diligent, it goes beyond doing just your job roles. You know, when your boss knows that if things goes wrong, you're there to put things in place. Trust me, even if you're pregnant, they would understand. Yes.
So you think it's more of a competence problem?
Yes, it takes two to tango. It takes two to tango. This person is running a business where they'll pay you from at the end of the day. You can't make excuses. You have to work extra. Yes, I'm sorry to say, but that's just the truth. You have to put in extra work. You have to put in the work. You have to go over and beyond. Except on cases where it's just beyond health. Yes, even your boss will understand that, okay, this is beyond this person, because ordinarily she's not like that. Yes, she's high performance and all that. So put in the job so you can give these bosses a reason to sit back and think. You know, and that's why I said it's more than just the women gathering and talking about women. If you have conferences and seminars and workshops about men, telling them about women and all that, if, let's take for instance simple mathematics, you're a boss, you've gone for these conferences, you have a mindset on your own, you've been re-educated, you understand now about the women and her involvement and everything, and you have a diligent staff that is competent and she's giving her best, and then she gets pregnant, and then she gave birth, and then she needs 3 months to rest and recover before coming to work. It will not be hard for you because you've been educated. And it will not be hard for you, secondly, because this your staff is giving you the best.
Right.
So like I said, it takes two to tango. Why we want to be included? Let's make ourselves readily available. Let's make ourselves as women, you know, undisputably, you know,
competent.
Yes, you know, and all that. So I think it takes two to tango. You can't just heap all the problem on the men. Let's give them some credit as well.
And that's one thing that, you know, has been of debate in the social space. Like, the office also needs to make progress. They also need to make profit. And you see, the thing is, some women don't even try. They make it difficult for other women to occupy the positions that they already are occupying. Because it's either today their child is sick, or tomorrow they need to do school runs, or next to a day after they have cramps. It's always something.
Yes, but then again, remember.
So, but when another woman comes, it's difficult to want to give that woman
No, but remember
chance.
We said we're talking about educating men. So he is a boss. There is someone who is also a father. So it's not just the boss that should consider that situation. The husband needs to consider as well. The husband, the brothers needs to know, my sister works, my husband, my wife works. So as the boss is giving her time and trying to be understanding, I need to be knowledgeable as well. If I have free time, I need to help her pick the kids. If I can in the morning, I need to help her do school runs to save some time. So when we're talking about educating male children or male gender as a whole, it's not just in the corporate world. Yes, so we need to educate them as a family, as an individual first, you know, before you even start spreading it to what they do. Because if everybody have that mindset, the husband will know what to do, the brothers will know what to do, the neighbors will know what to do, and the boss will also know what to do.
Absolutely. We are way past the half of the hour already. You can tell that Ambassador Victoria is quite interested, heavy on this conversation. But yes, let's go out on a very short breath, and when we get back, we'll keep up with the conversation. Don't go anywhere.